the DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Midday Market Report for Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. Our weekly trip to L.A. with the true OG of gambling Twitter himself, the one and only Mr. Pop DiBiase, who can be found at Pop DiBiase on the Twitter and at Prime Wave Media as well. As always, the show starts around 1:30, and by the time we get to talking and then try to get live, we're about 15 minutes late. So shout out to Marty Lowe. Hey, Marty, what is up, my brother? Last full week of May, June 1st on Thursday. And for me and Pops, a lot to talk about. As everyone knows here, if you don't, now you do. Pop's a big-time boxing guy, goes to a lot of fights, very, very well connected. And we were talking about Haney versus Lomo and the outrage, how Lomo was robbed. And we were talking about boxing, the basics of boxing. And as I said to him, when I open up spreadsheet and I see Lomo plus 220, there's no chance unless he knocks Haney down 2, 3, 4 times, knocks him out. He's not going to win by decision. There is zero chance. And that was the case. Haney, the face of boxing, the youth, 24, 25 years old, now will move on. Lomo will figure out what he's going to do from here. Pop's got a lot to talk about. The Lakers swept by the Nuggets. And couple real close games, some great games as well. The Nuggets, no respect Nuggets, as we like to say here. Early January, Mr. Lucky and a few others were fortunate enough on a show to grab the Nuggets at 12-1 to win it all. And looking like they'll be waiting for the Heat, but the Celtics have more to say on that. But anyways, enough from me. Let's bring on the star of the show, the one and only Mr. Pop DiBiase. What up, Pops?
What's going on? Feeling good, feeling great. How's everybody in the world of beautiful clams and sea waters and little dogs and all that good stuff out there with the in Cape Cod with the Don himself? I'm good though, man. How's everything with you?
Things are good. You know, we survived the sweep with a strong second half performance, which the Celtics haven't done in a long time. The funny thing is now they're only plus 220 or something to win this series, something that no team has come all the way back, to win 4 straight. They're trying to compare it to Mr. Millar and the Red Sox there in 2004. The Celtics have not played well at home. They lost the first 2 to Miami. They lost 2 to Philly. They struggled against the Hawks as well. So before we get into your thought process on the Lakers, LeBron, the future, Colin talking today about LeBron trying to make a strategic move, maybe to join Steph Curry and the Warriors, which I think is kind of comical. But anyways, talk about the fight. Talk about Lomo. Talk about Haney. I know who you were behind. I knew your thoughts before the fight and before, after, during. Give me your thoughts on Haney over Lomo.
Well, I try to go in there. I don't try to play sides too much. You know what I mean? I try to just be fair and watch a fight. So I had my judge's cap on Saturday. So literally I was looking for points and looking for things like that. I wasn't watching in a fan mode idea. I like to kind of, when the big fights happen, I do like to watch it in a judge idea. So I really did enjoy the fight. I thought it was a great fight. I thought it was an intense fight. I thought it was a fight that was high level. It showed high skills. It showed that these guys really know what they're doing. They showed that their extensive amateur backgrounds and all that good stuff, and showing that they put in the rounds to be called master boxers and things of that nature. But I just felt like the young guy just had enough of the exchanges at the end of the exchanges. He was always the one with the final punch. And a lot of people who haven't pointed that part out. And those body shots that he was landing early in the fight were very, very significant. I look at significant punches as well too, and significant moments in the fight. And Devin Haney had way more significant moments than Loma did. I know a lot of people feel Loma by showing a great effort, he looked like he was doing something, but he really he was, but he wasn't at the same time too. He missed a lot of shots as well. When you really look at it, I knew that when I was watching the fight. But people like Tim Bradley love to go ahead and kind of exaggerate things. And so it makes everybody feel like he was dominating somebody when he wasn't. I will give you this. Loma's best round of the night, and probably the most convincing round, if you were going to give it to anybody, was round 11. I'll go ahead and give you that. And I think that's where it swayed a lot of people into thinking Loma won the fight. But you can't win the fight off of one great round. That's the whole thing. And if you're going to start late and you're not going to really pick it up until round 7, where, and you're already 6-1 behind, then how are you going to really sit up here and say that you won the fight? But I had it 116, 112. And unlike the people who were going for Loma, I said, if you took Loma as the winner of the fight, I respect your decision because it was a close fight. But you're not going to tell me I can't say it's 116, 112 Devin Haney, because I saw what I saw. You know what I mean? And as I keep telling everybody, it's a game of opinions. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what Jimmy Joe Jack down the street said. It's all about the 3 refs that got paid to judge it's all about the 3 judges that have been sanctioned and have been paid for by the Nevada State Commission to do their job and go ahead and carry out their job. And they are the deciders of who's going to win the fight. And as everybody knows, when you're the challenger, you never leave it up into the judge's hands. We've seen guys absolutely destroy guys. And these guys were world-class super champions. And they wind up losing. They wind up winning the fight on a razor-thin decision. The greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. There's some that say that Ken Norton beat him all 3 times. Well, in the books, it says that Ali beat him 2 out of 3 times. So at the end of the day, are y'all going to question Ali and him winning his fights? Probably not, because you don't want to do that, because you know that you'll have to hear the greatest of all time speech and what he did to Sonny Liston and everything that has to do with everything that doesn't have to do with him fighting Ken Norton. You know what I mean? We'll find every other excuse in the book of why he had to win the fight, because Ken Norton wasn't a big enough name to run with, and he wasn't a sellable champion. So we know how the game of boxing is. The game of boxing has been ran by crooks since the day one of the business. So, being robbed and robberies and things of that nature, this isn't even close. It's nowhere near being close, because if you want to call out a robbery, and I hate to be even like this, because I'm actually a part of, the building and all this stuff that we did for Champ, but he even knows that he was given a gift decision. Now, Barrasso, and I'm talking about Barrasso Romero, you know what I mean? Because the fight should have never got stopped. You know what I mean? Possibly Rolly could have put him out, but then they stop the fight and then they make him look really bad, even though it was the ref's decision. So at the end of the day, we can't blame the boxers for the outside decisions. The judges decided it was Haney, and they all were 115, 113, 116, 112. That's unanimous. That means all 3 of those guys agreed Devin was the winner. And Jeff has a great point to what he's saying. Loma did not beat the brakes off of Devin Haney. You guys can dream that he beat the brakes off of him, but he did not. When you look at Loma's face, Loma looks like he was in 2 car accidents. So let's not play like Loma didn't get touched and he didn't have some glove work put on his face as well too. So at the end of the day, I got it 116, 112, and I think that Devin Haney is the closest thing to the Floyd Mayweather playbook. Everybody wants to say his boy Tank and all these other people, but really, no. The greatest student of the Floyd Mayweather game plan is Devin Haney and his father, straight up. And they've actually did it a little bit quicker than Floyd did because they've been able to be great students and be around the business of boxing. So they understand how this game works. And so that's why, Jeff has a great point. When you are an older fighter, you have to convincingly beat the younger champion. Roberto Duran got a great decision because Iran Barkley wasn't a great wasn't a big name, and he wasn't somebody who you want to build a future with. Devin Haney's somebody you want to build a future with because his next fights are going to be some of the biggest fights of all time. If he fights Tank Davis by the end of the year, that fight will be bigger than the fight Tank just had with Ryan Garcia. If he was to fight Ryan Garcia or Teofimo Lopez, that fight will be way bigger than any fight that any of those guys have ever been a part of. So you're right. Devin Haney has upped his status because that was literally on a national level because it got the ESPN coverage. Tank and Ryan didn't get ESPN coverage after the fight. If Jeff wakes up in the morning, Jeff was able to see them have a whole conversation about Haney Loma. So he, in a sense, you are right. He is, for a guy like you who's not into boxing the way that you were in the 80s and 90s, and you look up and you see, okay, you say, I feel like Haney's the face of boxing. And that's why I say the boxing people don't get to choose who the face of boxing is. The people, the outside people choose who the face of boxing is. It's hardcore fans can't choose who the face of boxing is because they're too invested in people. But a guy like Jeff, who's not watching it as spiritedly as the rest of us, and says Haney's the face, that there goes your answers right there. You can't keep calling other people the faces if they don't know who the hell they are. You know what I mean? And I think that you're a great example of, pretty much confirming that Devin Haney has arrived. And that's all it is. He's arrived. Shane Mosley had the same type of situation after he beat Oscar De La Hoya. The same exact situation. But Oscar wasn't an older champion. Oscar was the prime, the diva boy, and everybody was in love with old pretty ass Oscar from the '92 Olympics. You know what I mean? And then here comes Sugar Shane Mosley, another local California guy, Pomona kid. They open up Staples Center with the biggest boxing event of the year, and Shane Mosley winds up winning the fight. There was a lot of controversy behind that, but they were able to have a great rematch. And then in the rematch, it was more than clear that Shane was the better fighter. So, at the end of the day, it's great for boxing because it gives boxing some more eyes, and it says, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing the next Devin Haney fight. I'm looking forward to seeing the Errol Spence Crawford fight because that fight is, I told him 2 weeks ago too, Jeff, because I was actually talking to one of the executives that told me that Pop, get ready for July 29th because we have, because I work with Isak Cruz, is marketing and everything like that. And Isak has already signed up for a fight. But Isak's only doing pay-per-view. So that's why I knew this was going to happen. But, it's so funny that these boxing media guys have given out the wrong dates 4 times. But all in all, if you just have some patience and the right people, I knew that every time they gave out those dates, Jeff, it wasn't right because the people I talked to had no clue what I was talking about. So the thing is, when certain names and certain folks tell me this and that third's going to happen, it's going to happen. So pretty much, they have a fight going. And I think that this fight being so great really set up a great fight between these two guys to where it's going to be very anticipated. But I'm going to end my boxing rant with this. Boxing will not be the sport of kings until we have a U.S. heavyweight that's a world champion. It's that simple. This is only going to be so long with these little dudes because they outgrow these weight classes. They got to move on. We need to have that box office heavyweight guy that knocks people out with one punch and all that good stuff for boxing to really realize its full potential once again. Is it somewhat of a rebirth of boxing? Absolutely not. It's just boxing doing boxing business as usual. Boxing has had times where it was the sport where it was the top of the food chain, and it's had points where it's been the bottom of the food chain. It's always going to be a up and down sport. It's never going to be a sport that's going to be always consistently great. So at the end of the day, it's great that boxing has the momentum that it has now. These guys finally woke up and started making the fights that people want to see, and now we're in a good place. That's all they ever had to do was make the fights that people want to see. But when you don't understand the business end of the sport, then you don't understand that guys price themselves out as well too. Every one of these fights have budgets to them, and you can't outprice. Dude, if you do a concert with New Edition and you got to pay Bobby Brown an extra $10,000 more, you got to kind of do that in secrecy, right? You got to make sure the other guys don't know that, So that's how it is, But if everybody gets the extra 10,000, how do we do the next show? What I mean by that, Jeff. So that's why it's like guys do price themselves out, and we don't get the big pay-per-view events like we did when Don King was in charge. Everybody says this, that, and the third about Don, but I know one thing: Don wouldn't be having 3 up-and-coming prospects as the warm-up fights to a main event. They're 3 championship fights. It'd be your little bullshit bantamweights that you guys are all going crazy about, your little middleweight fight, your little lightweight fight, and then here comes the big boys, the millionaires. You know what I mean? It was classes to this. Every champion wasn't seen as this ultimate being. You know what I mean? And that's what today's boxing is. It's like, if you're a champion, oh my God, you're one of the greats. You're a Hall of Famer. They're not all Hall of Famers. Sometimes you just had a great night and a great moment, perfect place, perfect time, great opportunity. That's just how it is sometimes in sports. You know what I mean? But that doesn't make you a Hall of Famer, though, Jeff. But I'm going to just end it at that because we know that we have way more important things to talk about than the controversial world of boxing.
It's been a couple days. Lakers, LeBron, I think it was Nick Wright or someone, I think, said it best when LeBron hinted towards retirement. Just threw it out there. Didn't say he's retiring, nothing like that. But it kind of took away from the fact that they just got swept. And you can look at it as an 8 seed losing to a 1, however you want to break it down. But there was momentum building. The thought process was simple. Go into Denver, steal a game, come back home and defend home court. Well, you didn't steal a game in Denver and you didn't defend the home court. Game 3, which Nuggets got out, and it was thanks for playing. Game 4, LeBron, an amazing first half. Denver just flexed its muscles, and then a great fourth quarter. We have heard LeBron talk about, I'm staying as long as I can because I want to play with Bronny, which isn't happening next year either. The moves that the GM made with Lakers, bringing in a whole bunch of different parts, it worked. It worked. I said all along, if you really want a life after LeBron, this is the time you move AD, get some draft picks, get another player ready to come in. You're hearing Kyrie Irving, you're hearing Trey, the Ice Trey from Atlanta, yada, yada, yada. Give us the post-mortem Laker report and LeBron, Pops.
Well, you know what? The Lakers, there's nothing to be mad about. There's nothing to be, sad about or anything like that if you're a real Laker lifer, because you know what? At the end of the day, to come back from 2-10 and everybody say that you're a lottery team and that you're not going to be this and that and the third and you guys are already over with, that's an accomplishment in itself. You know what I mean? The way that the Lakers persevered and played some of the best basketball that you could possibly play when you got to that point. But the Lakers were always an even bag all season. For every great game that they had, they would have another setback the next game. You know what I mean? And the Lakers never showed true consistency throughout the season. That caught up with them in the Denver series as well, too. They really turned back into the team that could go up 17 points and then lose a game by 10. And that's exactly what happened in the series. And I think that when you get too relying on LeBron at this age, it messes you up. And this Laker team did really well because they weren't relying on LeBron. You didn't need LeBron to score 30 points for you to win a game. You just needed LeBron just to be a presence on the floor, damn near a decoy. You know what I mean? The last line of defense, last line of offense. But with Anthony Davis not being as consistent as he was throughout the time LeBron was out, it kind of affected the Lakers in a sense, but it really wasn't on AD and LeBron in the full spectrum of things because they did what they're supposed to do. They always do what they're supposed to do because they're stars and they're stars. It's that simple. The person that really was the player that hurt the Lakers moving forward was D'Angelo Russell because they needed more production from D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell, when he had a good game in the playoffs, throughout the playoffs, the Lakers won their games by 20, 30 points. And D'Angelo Russell was absolutely dreadful in this series. Bad shot selection, bad body language, and it just was a hindrance to the Lakers. Vanderbilt not being an offensive threat at all, but being a great defensive player was a little bit of a hindrance as well, too. I felt like, you had to play guys like Troy Brown a little bit more, who plays the same type of defense that Vando plays, but, you just forgot all about a guy that helped us throughout the whole season. Troy Brown played in every single game this year, and they just stopped putting him in the lineup in the second round of the playoffs. You know what I mean? And he was a guy who could come in and kind of get things going a little bit. Also, Malik Beasley kind of went into MIA. He was supposed to be this 3-point shooter, and he literally just became a bench guy. And I just think that the Lakers ran into the better team. Let's just keep it real. Denver is a unit. I told you guys from day one, I didn't have to wait until December and January to say Denver is one of these teams. When I did my NBA preview, I said that if you're going to look at any team in the Western Conference that has a legit shot that probably won't go through any bullshit this year, it's going to be the Nuggets because they got the 2-time MVP and they got Murray back healthy. And this makes up for one of the top 3 duos in the NBA. And when these guys are on, they're very, very hard to beat. And then adding KCP, integral piece to the Lakers championship run in the bubble 2020, a guy who was very integral in bringing LeBron to Los Angeles, because if we don't get KCP the summer before, LeBron probably doesn't come to LA. He probably winds up either re-signing with the Cavaliers or going to the Knicks, where he should have went in the first place, to where he could have had full control of somebody's roster. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what anybody says, LeBron ruined the Lakers. He truly did. The Lakers had a great plan in place with their young puppies. And it was very explained to LeBron from Jeannie, Rob, and Magic. Can you just be the big leader for this young group and help this young group learn how to win basketball games? LeBron didn't have the patience to do that. LeBron could have missed the playoffs in a year and said, you know what, everybody, we're meeting up in Vegas and we're going to just start practicing. We're just going to get to know each other. We're gonna have this thing work out. No, he busts a LeBron pouting moment, and then we had to start giving up parts and giving up people and giving up core and giving up all this stuff to appease him. And he knows where he came to. We're not the Cavaliers. We don't need you to be our general manager. We're not the Heat. We don't need you to sell to veterans to come to LA. The Lakers sell themselves. And so pretty much what happens is that LeBron comes in, ruins a good thing. We were building a team for the long term to where he could help these young guys become great basketball players. Now, we couldn't stop Zoe Ball from not being hurt the way he is, but Brandon Ingram gives you the same output that Anthony Davis does. Kuzma is one of the better players in the NBA, and was one of the best role players in the league when he's on the Lakers. Julius Randle was already gone, but he was a pretty good option as well too. We had Hart as well too. We had a lot of really good players. You had Caruso, who helped win a championship. And this just was, and LeBron makes him get rid of Caruso so they can keep THT. What happens to THT? They trade him for bum-ass Pat Beverly because LeBron asked for it. So everything that comes back to it, it's like, why are the Lakers getting blamed for everything? The Lakers really are being held hostage, just like the Cavaliers were, just like the Heat were. LeBron has to learn how to be just a player and not the general manager. And helping coach out, that's cool. But at some point, let coach. You know what I mean, Jeff? It's not your job. It's not your job. It's your job to play basketball. And then you go over and then you make a big stink about it in the media when people tell you this. But see, it goes back to somebody, and I know this is going to really mess people up and make people mad, but this goes back to people who don't have fathers growing up, is that they don't know how to be, they don't know how to listen. They don't want to listen. Mommy's always let it be my way. And that's why we got such a messed up complex with LeBron. That's why people don't like him. I think that he's gold. I think he's great for the NBA. I think that he held the NBA up the last 15 years. He truly did, because the NBA was in a real dark place when Michael Jordan left. Ratings were terrible. The Lakers were not the most entertaining team because they were so dominant. Yeah, for real. This is coming from a Laker fan. I know this because people used to tell me this, like, I don't know about the NBA anymore because Lakers just can't nobody beat the Lakers. You know, the Bulls actually gave you these thrilling, epic games where, oh my God, Jordan's the man. You know what I mean? But the Lakers were just literally beating teams by 30 points and calling it a day. And then we had the good old boring era of the Detroit Pistons and the San Antonio Spurs. Pretty much demolition basketball, right, Jeff? You know, and that's why this is for all the people who be like, why don't they be this physical anymore? Just go back to 2003 through 2005, and you'll understand why we don't need to be physical anymore, because that was shitty basketball. Let's just keep it real. All right, so all in all, LeBron James has been a gift and a curse. Okay, he gifted the Lakers with the championship, but he cursed the Lakers with the amount of baggage that he brings to the table. He's the most talked about basketball player ever. He's the only basketball player that I know that his family is open for criticism as well too. Michael Jordan's family never had to be up under that much of a microscope. Nobody cared about what his sons and daughters were doing. They truly didn't. Nobody cared about what his wife was doing. Everybody was only worried about Michael Jordan and what Michael Jordan did on the court. And then, you know, if they said he was out gambling or something like that, then, you know, they might have a story about that. But I think that Jordan was just better at being a private person. He had better PR people. But LeBron is such a people person. Oh, man, you see me? I'm there. Just make sure they saw me. And so pretty much he's invited everybody into his life, and you can start to see the frustration, Jeff. The other night, he almost fought Aaron Gordon. LeBron is one of the most mentally disciplined players I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen him get to the point to where he was about to fight somebody in a game. And that happened the other night because he's old and he's getting tired of it. You know what I mean? It's old, and he knows that it's time to pass the guard. LeBron retiring, to me, would be the greatest thing for him and his family at this point. He's proven himself. He's proven that he's there. I'm going to just say it like this. I know a lot of people don't like him, but that's your personal feelings towards him. But when it comes to playing the game of basketball, you can't keep saying he's in the top 20. That's absolute bullshit, and you know it. LeBron James is either the greatest player of all time or the second greatest player of all time. however you want to scratch it and however you want to put it together. We're not talking about championships anymore. We're talking about impact on the floor. Because if we talked about just championships all day, then we only can talk about Bill Russell. And Bill Russell, you're never going to say he was the greatest player of all time, but he's the greatest winner of all time. And that's different. That's winning. But when you say, okay, let's pick a 5, LeBron's always going to get picked first. Wilt will always get picked second. Believe that. If we had a straight up pickup game, yeah, Jordan's going to get picked as well, too. He's going to get picked first. But when you look at guys who literally just destroyed the game and did whatever they wanted on the floor, and they didn't have to wait for somebody to retire for them to become the man. Oh, that's LeBron and Wilt. And they pretty much are twins, in my opinion, Jeff. They're so damn good that nothing will ever impress you because they're that good. They make the impossible seem possible. And that's why Wilt and LeBron are exactly the same person, in my opinion. Larger than life basketball players that people just expected them to always be perfect because that's how great they truly are.
I'm going to ask you this question, then we'll head over to the diamond. Let's go back to the Packers for a second. You know, I said for a long, long time they were held hostage by Aaron Rodgers, and of course, you know the winning the divisions every year. They're making it to the playoffs. Only had that one Super Bowl, and then am I going to retire? Am I not going to retire? Then eventually, they ripped the Band-Aid off. He's now with the Jets. LeBron, 38. Not LeBron, 28 now. LeBron, 38. You and I talk futures. We can see through the trees. You made it to the Western Conference Finals, especially after a slow start. You rebuilt the whole team on the fly, yada, yada, yada. And I'm just playing a game here. If Golden State called, says, hey, we want LeBron for Clay and a draft pick, or I'm just making this stuff up. Is it time to rip the Band-Aid off? He's got a couple years left. You can take the capital, you can take the gains, the draft picks, and then decide, are you going to build around AD with the core that you have, add a Trey, add a Kyrie, whatever it is, or you're going to play the Packer role here? And I'm not comparing the two, but I see the similarities. We made it to the finals. We just need to add a couple pieces. Who do you want, LeBron? Do you want Kyrie? Do you want Trey? Who do you want?
Jeff, I'm about to go take it another step. If I was the general manager, and this is why I'm not a general manager in the NBA right now, I'd be taking all calls on both LeBron and AD. Straight up. I'm just going to say, and I would just come out with a press conference. Look, we're trading these two, and we're rebuilding the team right now. Okay, and we're going to rebuild the team in the way I see it. Okay, and I think that we can get a whole lot of assets if we get rid of these guys right now. Mm-hmm. And you know what? If Laker fans don't like that type of move, then you can go right across the way to the Clippers. Okay, but let's go ahead and just blow this whole situation up. AD will bring me 5 players. LeBron will bring me picks and some more players. So that means that I could go ahead and revamp this whole team within a 2-week span and have a lot of good young bodies. And I get 2 all-stars out the deal because I'm going to get 2 all-stars out the deal in their prime, ready to roll. Actually, the Lakers stay a contender. How about that? Because you literally don't even have to give up anybody else. You can just send off that one player and get what you need to get. Lakers get 2 first-rounders getting rid of LeBron easily. The Lakers get 2 first-rounders getting rid of AD, and they will hand you their star because they have to hand you somebody who's on a big contract. I will go get Zion Williamson. I don't care. I'll send AD's ass right back to New Orleans and say, give me Brandon Ingram, give me Brandon Ingram, or give me Zion, one or the other. And then I want Jordan Hayes as well too. And then I want another one of these shooting guards as well. because we can go ahead and just flip this trade just like we did on our ass a few years back. You know what I mean? So I want your best of the best too, because AD's still seen as a top 10 player. We send LeBron's ass straight to New York. That's straight up. Go bring me Brunson. Go bring me back Randall. I'll take RJ. And then whoever else you want to throw in the mix with that. Even maybe possibly RJ Barrett. Because I think those three would be able to bring in LeBron. Because New York, the Knicks would be stupid enough to say, okay, well, we can just go get Larry, Jack, and Joe, and they can play with LeBron. As long as we selling out the Garden every night, who cares? So the Lakers can make this thing happen. And the Lakers don't have to do any catering to LeBron. Because at the end of the day, I feel like LeBron really does need to take a long look in the mirror and tell himself, is it time to retire? Or is it really up to me to keep playing? What am I proving here? And I truly do feel that the force of trying to put Bronny and him together on the court in the NBA is a bit cringe. Okay, King Griffey Jr. were lucky enough to get to that because the circumstance in the situation. You know what I mean? It was baseball. He was the kid. And, the Mariners needed to sell tickets at the time. So they did that as a publicity stunt in a sense. They weren't even going to keep Griffey Jr. up there that long. They just wanted to have him play with his dad for a week or two. And then he did so damn good, they had to keep him up there. So pretty much, that's a different story because that's baseball. Baseball, those type of things happen. In basketball, guys don't play with their kids. It's that simple. And it's already bad enough that we pretty much seen the guy get raised literally by the media and his dad at the same time. And it's already bad enough that you have grown men challenging you at basketball games and on the internet and everywhere you go. They follow you around like you're your dad at St. Vincent, St. Mary's, and you're nowhere near as good as your dad was. Even though he's a great player in himself for the prep ranks, it's just you're not your dad. So I feel like LeBron's best choice is to retire. Stop selling the idea you're going to play with your son. You're taking away from his you're taking away from his moment, his career. Let him have his moment. Let him have a time for himself. Because it's already bad enough that everybody thinks he's only here because of his dad. And that will make it even worse. You know what I mean? And it goes back to what I was saying, Jeff. You know what I mean? I know it's really messed up, but it's the truth. Fatherless sons. You know what I mean? He's never had a dad, so he doesn't know that sometimes he's being a little too pushy right now. Because you're being pushy and you're having the media be pushy as well too. He's putting an unneeded pressure on Bronny to the point to where he might fail at USC right now. Keep it real. Because it seems like every kid's son that goes to USC has been an absolute flop. You know who was really good at basketball and probably had some NBA game to him before it just really clicked that he wasn't the dude? Romeo Miller. Romeo Miller is Master P's son. Romeo Miller is the main reason why DeMar DeRozan went to USC. So just think about that. And he's the guy that helped DeMar DeRozan become a recognizable prep star as well, too, because he played on their AAU teams. So just look at that, for instance, Jeff, and just know that USC has not been that great to celebrities and players' kids moving forward because they don't have a great coach. They don't really have a great basketball tradition. But we know why he ain't going to go play for my man Mick Cronin, because Mick Cronin don't play favorites. Ask Amari Bailey. You know what I mean? But you see Amari Bailey is really ready to be in the NBA right now as well, too, because his mental is right. That's what Mick Cronin does for you. Infield ain't going to do nothing but babysit you. That ain't going to help you on the next level in the NBA. What USC player has been killing in the NBA not named DeMar DeRozan? OJ Mayo had a little bit of a time, but that's it.
Harold Miner, Brian Scalabrine.
Winning it don't mean nothing. Dude couldn't even get off the bench in Miami, dog. Keep it real.
He could dunk.
He could dunk. That's it.
He had one good year. He did have one good year, by the way.
But they did have a little group there for a while that stuck around the NBA for a bit. You know, Scalabrine.
Oh, hold on, time out.
Hey, you know.
What about Mobley? What's wrong with Mobley?
Which Mobley? Oh yeah, Evan Mobley's awesome. That's that's my guy.
Where'd he go to school?
He went to USC, but you know,
okay.
But Evan Mobley ain't making the Evan Mobley is a really, really good player, but you know, he ain't making the same impact DeMar is making right now. But he's getting there though. But you get my drift though, right, Jeff? That USC is not a basketball school, bro. And he only went there so he could be catered to. You're not gonna get catered to at UCLA. They're not gonna wipe your butt. Okay, they're not gonna make sure that you miss three, that if you miss the test that you still get an A. No, it doesn't work like that at UCLA. Student athlete, just like Michigan did your boy Caleb Love. Student athletes. We're not here to cater to, I just play basketball. I just play football. Then go just take your I just play football ass down the street then. You know what I mean? And go play over at Fairmont State.
The Dodgers having a nice couple days in Atlanta. You wheel out another star to be born. Pitcher debuted last night against Strider, who I'm a huge Strider fan. And offensively, you guys just keep rolling. Give us the temperature and the feeling, la in Dodger land.
Well, the Dodgers do what the Dodgers do. They're a machine, Jeff. You know what I mean? Just came off of losing their first series in like 6 weeks, you know what I mean, with the Cardinals losing 3 out of 4, but that's okay because the Cardinals have heated it up a little bit and, went from being one of the worst teams in baseball to now being back in the middle of the pack. The Dodgers, though, on the other hand, it's about they had to figure out what was going to work. You know what I mean? They had to really figure out what was going to work, and really they just had to get the rest of spring training out of them. You got a brand new team, brand new shortstop in Rojas. Then you got an outfield that's a rotational outfield in a sense. So James Outman has to come in and replace Cody Bellinger. He does that with flying colors, right? You have Vargas come in. He has to replace pretty much Turner in the lineup. He has Trey Turner and somewhat our boy Justin Turner as well too. So you have to replace those two with Rojas and Vargas. All right, so they have to get used to who they are as well, too. Mookie Betts is in the infield. He's in the outfield. So he has to get used to what his new position is going to be. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot of things to get used to. Will Smith was out for 10 days. A lot of people don't talk about that. Will Smith had a concussion. And Will Smith is pretty much the lifeblood of the whole thing. He is the X factor. But Muncy being such a great power hitter this year. He's not a great hitter this year, but he's been able to muscle those balls up out of here. So every time he sees a good pitch, it's getting turned on. He kind of is just doing the Kyle Schwarber now. You know what I mean? Where you get on up there, if the pitch looks good, I'm taking it, I'm parking it. You know what I mean? So that's been helpful for the Dodgers as well. But these are the guys that really stand out to me, Jeff. It's 3 guys, 3 veterans the Dodgers signed. It would have been a big signing 6-7 years ago, but now they're just really good role players. Your boy JD Martinez has been huge. He hit 2 home. He's hit 3 home runs in this series. David Peralta, another really good baseball player that can play infield, outfield, and then Jason Hayward has just been a dream because you didn't expect Jason Hayward to be this productive with the Dodgers. You just expected him possibly to be a guy that makes the team, and when they need him to play outfield once or twice a week, he can go out there and fill in pretty nicely, because he got a great arm. But the guy can still hit, and he's been able to have somewhat of a reemergence in baseball with the Dodgers. Even though they're not playing him every day, he's a great leader because he's won a championship. Your guy, JD Martinez, he's won a championship. So the Dodgers have guys that know what it takes to get a ring. And I don't think they had enough of that over the years in the dugout. You know what I mean? I just don't think they had enough of it. That's why the Dodgers only won 1 title in that stretch of being this good of a team. And I think the Dodgers understand their division better than anybody. They know San Diego's the team that they got to whoop on. They know that Arizona is a team that's going to really be pesky all season. And come on, the Giants, that's just hate. That's Harlem. That's Harlem versus Brooklyn, baby. You know how that goes, man. That's the A train and the J train. That's all that going at it. That's the subway. That's the true Subway series right there. And then, come on, man. You got the Rockies. These guys are literally they're still at the damn spring training facility the way that they're playing baseball this season, but nobody's worse than the A's, man. Nobody. And I'm telling you right now, I know I'm kind of jumping around, but these are my thoughts real quick. Oakland A's, leave Vegas alone. You do not need to go over there stealing those people's money and then sitting up there and playing bad baseball for the next 25 years. Not good. Don't do it. The city of Las Vegas doesn't want to do it. The state of Nevada doesn't want to do it. Nobody wants to get an A's money. Straight up. Because they know what business their owner owns in reality. And they're not trying to be picking up the tab on the team. You might as well sell the team to the state of Nevada if you want them to take care of all the stadiums and stuff like that. You're not a hotel. You're not a casino. So really, you're only going to be open in reality 3 months out the year. So why can't you just tear up the parking lot? You have a perfect situation right across the parking lot where the Warriors used to play at. Just implode the stadium and build your little 30,000 seat stadium there. It's not hard. It's truly not hard. The California market is not, you can say whatever you want, but the California market is still always going to be better than the Vegas market. Vegas is a fad. It's something that's good right now. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Golden Knights, they're sorry for 5 years straight, I guarantee it won't be a sellout every night. I guarantee you it won't be no sellout every night.
But the difference with the Vegas market, very simply here, Pops, is that whether it's the Knights, whether it's the Raiders, you can go there and you can tell just walking the strip which team is in town. In other words, people go, they'll say, hey, the Pats are in town on Sunday. We're going to Vegas for the weekend so we can see the Pats and Raiders. Hey, the Bruins are in town this week. Hey, let's go to Vegas. Let's go catch a show. Let's go see Celine Dion or whoever and Britney Spears. And then on Saturday night, we'll catch a Knights game and we'll grab the red-eye back. So that's the reason. And you're still going to get an NBA team there. You're still going to get a baseball team there. It's just the way it has gone, my brother.
Well, you know what? Baseball and basketball need to stay out because it's going to mess up the integrity of their games. Because the NFL is already bad enough with the Raiders every week in their scripted games that they have over there at Elegante Field. It seems like how every game can't be close, Jeff. Sorry, dog.
It's the NFL. It's the NFL.
That damn close. Raiders up 32-0. Next thing you know, it's 32-32 Raiders. What is that? I've been to a bunch of Vegas shows. They do the same thing where, you got to have some theater to it. I know everybody's really excited about Vegas and they think Vegas is this big, great town and everything like that. But what is going to happen is this. Once that honeymoon phase is over in Las Vegas, people are going to be like, you know what? I'm good off of going to the game tonight. I'm good off of this, that, and the third. And when they start really selling gambling again, people will be like, you know what? I ain't come here. I ain't worried about going to no damn Knights game. I know that when the Bruins is in town and this team is in town, and you're not just going to fly to Vegas to go watch a damn game. You know what I mean? You go to Vegas to go gamble. You go to have a good time. That's just a part of the party. But if it becomes a bad product, it's just a bad product. It reminds me a lot of when Vegas was in their amusement park phase where they had all these amusement parks on the strip and everybody was like, this is going to be the future. This is going to be this, that, and the third. Them amusement parks was gone within a decade, man. So, we'll see how it goes, but sports is big business. It's just that they're going to have to figure out what the integrity of the games are going to be. I would much rather them not let you bet on games in Vegas. I'm sorry, Jeff. I just don't think that it's a good idea. because come on, California literally denied sports betting because they knew that it would have been a conflict of interest. They know that guys would throw games straight up. They know that. And we got to get some order here, Jeff, because we're having a little bit of an issue here. We've had 3 coaches already get caught in college baseball cheating, gambling on games, pulling a Pete Rose. So we got to kind of dial it back, sports, if we want to keep the integrity of sports. Right. I understand though. I know I'm kind of in a boat by myself, but shit, I've been there before. I've been there plenty of times. They'll listen to me. They'll see it in a few years, Jeff. Don't worry about it. Now,
well, TJ, basically what he's saying is if you got 4 or 5 bad years from a certain sport, a certain team, that they're not going to sell out. Yada. I mean, now listen, the Knights are within 1 game to going back to their second Stanley Cup in 7 years. I mean, it's unheard of. They went in their first year, and now they're heading back. They're 1 game away there. People still go to the WNBA games. I know that's a whole and different entirety there. I'm not trying to get into the WNBA. People will go to the NBA games. People are going to go to the baseball games. It's just what it is. And football, I'm just going to say this. Football, I'm telling you right now, they look at the schedule. It gives them a reason to go to Vegas until they see the prices of those tickets at Allegiant, Alliant, whatever the name of the stadium is, number
that's
1.
What we're looking at as well, too, because America's economy is not looking great, man. Everybody is people going to have to start really deciding what's important and what's not. You know what I mean? I know that your home mortgage is a little bit more important than going to the Raider game against the Chiefs in Vegas. You know what I mean? So, we got decisions to make, you know what I mean? Because everybody always talks about this money that they don't have. Then all of a sudden we have money. Make it make sense, Jeff. You know what I mean? Make it make sense.
We turn the show into 3, 4, 5 hours. So what I'm going to do is what I always do. Pops, the scroll has been rolling the whole time. You can go find this man, the OG of Twitter, Mr. Pop DiBiase, at Pop DiBiase, at Prime Wave Media, the prime time capper. Tell them about your shows, where to find all your clips, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I guess I'd have made him mad, so now I got to go. So I'm messing with you, Jeff. I know. But yeah, you guys can catch me on the Twitter. You guys can catch me at Pop DiBiase. You guys already know the primetime angles the everyday, Monday through Friday. So you guys can check it out. You guys, I'll be on about maybe in the next hour with my show. So you guys come on down and watch what I got going on. You guys can catch all the updates and things like that on Prime Wave Media as well too. And you guys can watch my show on the YouTube on Prime Wave Media as well too. And if you guys are interested in being clients, PTSI, you guys can DM me or just hit me up and say, hey, Pops, can I get a DM from you? And we can talk about it because we've been rolling pretty well, Jeff. We had a great weekend as well too. We wound up going 13-3. The client dog bet has hit the last 5 days in a row as well. And we're actually 15 and 15 and 4 or 15 and 9 and 1 this month when it comes to the dog bet. So we've been doing pretty good in that regard. So, you guys can just go ahead and check me out. And, it's always a pleasure me doing this with Jeff because I can kind of let my hair down a little bit and everything like that. I know that we kind of go a little bit further on than what we're supposed to, but you know what? We run this shit, so we can do what we want. So you know how it goes. So pretty much, yeah, thank you guys very much. And you guys can catch me at all those channels I just named for you.
The one and only Pop DiBiase. Go follow him, please, at Pop DiBiase at Prime Wave Media. Myself at EC Sports Invest. In 20 minutes, Andrew McGinnis at Wager Talking McGinnis Picks, talking some NHL. Around 4:30, Riley Magnuson for sure in the closing bell. I might be there, not sure there. 6 o'clock, myself and Brady Cannon talking some PGA at the Colonial. Brady Cannon looks for 3 straight outrights in a row. Everyone, enjoy yourself. See you back in 20 minutes. And as Pops always likes to close, we will say toodles.